Alright guys, so this is a completely random video. I wasn't even planning to make this, and when I'm posting it's actually a little bit late. But thank you so much for watching it. But I just wanted to share my reaction to the second season of The Chosen, episode 1, and just one part that really stood out to me and that I wanted to share with you. So after I watched the episode, I ate and then I went and I was helping my family with the dishes, and just as I was kind of thinking about it, just reliving through the episode and recalling some of the scenes, I was thinking about the scene. If spoilers, warnings if you haven't watched it already. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. But if you have watched it, this is my reaction to it. I was thinking about the scene where it's kind of near the end. All of the disciples, they're sitting down and they're trying to plan how Jesus' day will go. And first off, if you go ahead and go to the night before, Jesus, he already knew what was in store. He told the man that they were meeting with that to go to the temple to listen to the Torah reading, which he ended up reading the Torah. But he didn't tell his disciples those plans. Rather, he left the room, and the disciples, this is back in the morning, the disciples, they were trying to plan out his plans. And it kind of seems like we're doing that in the American church today. We are trying to put Jesus in a box and kind of chase after him instead, or not chase after him, have him follow what we think is best rather than following him, and as Thaddeus put it, not argue. That, because one scene, all the disciples, they were like, oh, why are you always arguing with what the plan is? And they were like arguing all about that. I don't remember the exact lines, but we as a church, we are trying to put Jesus in a box. And as I was cleaning the dishes, this is part I want to share. We, as the American church, how would we find a good church? The disciples, they were trying to reach perfection. They were trying to reach a point of perfection that we as humans cannot reach. They wanted exact timing, exact planning. I'm not saying we shouldn't have plans and timing because it helps keep us in order. But if we have it in such a way to where it puts God in a box and kind of ask him to follow us instead of us following him, that's really not the right way to go. We need to be striving not for perfection, but to be humble. And humbling and acknowledging that we are not perfect, that we are the ones who, as Jesus says near the end of the episode to John, that we are the ones too who are messed up. We are flawed. And even though we are flawed, God can still work through us. But that does not mean that God is quote unquote something that we can control. Something that we say, look, God, here's our agenda, do it. In fact, Jesus, he already knew what the plan was. He just let them talk it out, as I guess he often does. And ultimately, they came and they realized what the true plan already was. And that was the plan that Jesus had already established. So one quick thing I want to question for you tonight. Are you following the plan that you've made, what you think is good, or are you walking and submitting to God and the plan that he has made, which is best? Because if we do this, if we try to reach perfection, it makes us even more corrupt and flawed because we're relying on ourselves, which is a unstable foundation. Or are you looking to Jesus, who is a stable foundation, just like this chair? I can try to sit on my own, okay? Like if I really try to sit like that, but I wobble. When I try to sit in this chair, it gives me a stable foundation. It helps me to do what I was created to do. And we know what we're created to do when we seek God and his word and through prayer. So, don't strive for perfection, but rather strive to be humble and be humble, which brings good and guidance. While if we strive for perfection on our own, we won't reach it. Rather, it'll just fade away. It'll break apart. We won't be able to stand on our own. We as the American church, we need to humble ourselves and acknowledge that we cannot do this on our own. We cannot tell others about Jesus on our own. Because if we're doing it on our own, there is no point. We're doing it to tell them that we need Him. So why would we tell others that they need Him if we aren't even willing to take the step of faith to sit and rely on the chair, the stable foundation that Jesus is? If we aren't willing to take that step of faith and rely on Him ourselves. Whether you're Christian, whether you're not Christian, take the time to realize and think about how you can try to do it. Sit on your own. Try to sit on your own. Try to sit in the air like this. You won't be able to. But with a steady foundation, you have to humble yourself enough to acknowledge that I cannot do this on my own. But with His strength and His guidance and His stable foundation, He gives me the strength to be able to do so. So that's just something I want to encourage you guys real fast with that I got out of Chosen Season 2, Episode 1. And yeah, so I'll see you guys soon. It was really good. Watch it within the Chosen app. I'm assuming you've watched it already if you are up to this point, but alright. I'll see you guys soon. Adios.